Ta-ta. H.
I will tell you the story of Lad Dracula, or the son of the dragon, as he has also been known in history. In the 12th century, German immigrants began settling in the kingdom of Hungary near the Carpathian Mountains in search of work as miners and craftsmen. In 1825, my grandfather, a carpenter, took my sisters and I on this journey to find a better life. After months of our braving the cold and darkness, we thought our voyage was about to finally see a new sunrise.
Ich habe etwas für dich. Jetzt, du bist ein Mann.
Danke, Großpapa.
Mein Gott!
of my blood, death of my death. This life is no longer than the space between two heartbeats. Come into the night, the darkness. Come to me, my love.
The blood is the life, Doctor. The blood is the life. I know the secret, Doctor. The blood is the life. The blood is the life. The blood is the life. The blood is the life.
What does it all mean? I am beginning to wonder if my long habit of life among the insane has begun to tell upon my own brain. Sometimes I think we are all mad, that we shall awaken to sanity in straitjackets.
I will be the first to tell you, there's no such thing as a pure heart. No one is immune to all evil. Life, in its infinite metamorphosis, is far too complicated, and we are too much the victims of our own beginnings.
My God. How has it come to this? Has heaven decreed it? Am I the guilty one? You can't imagine what agony it is to doubt everything. Even yourself.
Why must I suffer not knowing along with this fear and weakness? Why do you separate yourselves from me when I am so alone?
Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood, kin of my kin. Most beloved of all, when I say come, you shall cross land and sea to do my bidding.
My apologies, Dr. Van Helsing. The strain of travel. Not been well.
I am sorry to hear that, Mr. Harker. I shall not keep you long. My friends, it is hard to bear when one so young is taken from us so unkindly. But sorrow has a way of following sorrow, and it is often grief's negligence that perpetuates it. Times like these, we feel more than we think. And yet, thinking is the only tool we have to deal with the emotional ravages of time, death, and the loss of love. So, I hope that you will forgive my haste. The many strange circumstances surrounding the death of our dear Miss Lucy compel me to act swiftly. Her eternal rest may yet depend on what I find.
Well, these are very strange words, Doctor.
Forgive me, Madam Mina. I cannot explain further. Even Dr. Seward, who knows me so well, would think me raving mad. No. I must be sure, if I am to tell you that which would shake the very foundations of your belief. Have you brought everything, my dear?
Yes. There is very little. Only a small bundle of Lucy's letters to me and my journal. The letters mostly about nothing, I'm afraid, and well, my journal.
Well, the smallest thing would be important, my dear. Now, I know what a great favor it is to ask to look into a woman's heart. But let me reassure you that my discretion is absolute.
I'm sure you will find nothing to make you blush, Professor. However, there is one other thing.
Yeah?
My husband kept a diary of his trip to Transylvania before our marriage.
Somehow I know there's a connection.
In what way?
I don't know. I can remember nothing of it.
You see, Professor, his experiences brought on a severe brain fever, and he has not read his diary for fear of a recurrence. And then last evening, as we drove along the Piccadilly, he suddenly became very pale and began to tremble. "Can you not see who it is?" he cried. "It
Who was it?
It was the Count.
Who?
I swear, it was the Count.
He became so distressed that I begged to keep his mind on the matter by asking him questions. I decided that I must have a look at his diary, and now I am sure that you must see it as well, Professor.
Very well. Mr. Harker, I shall attack your notebook first.
Here is every detail I have written for the last 3 months. It includes Lucy's last note.
Thank you. Madam Mina, you are even more beautiful than they told me.
You are very kind, Professor.
Can you not see how beautiful she is?
Yes, dear. Come.
You may use my study at any time, Hein. Ring if you need anything.
I left Munich about 4:35 p.m. on May 1st, 1887. That day, I observed many strange customs which are apparently commonplace in this part of the world.
2 tickets to Wales, please.
2 to Wales, ma'am.
Thank you.
1 to Budapest.
1 to Budapest. Have a nice trip.
Pour la bien de la mer, tambien du tonnerre. Pour tambien du tonnerre.
For example, people often pressed religious gifts on me when they learned of my destination.
All aboard!
One old woman begged me not to go, saying it was the eve of St. George's Day, a day when, according to her, all evil things had full sway. From there, I traveled on to Budapest, across the Danube, and finally to Bistritz. My client had made arrangements for my lodging at the Golden Krone.
Mr. Harker? Yes. Thank you.
There, a letter awaited me, which I read on the train the next day. It explained that on the morrow, the regular coach would carry me to the Borgo Pass, where his carriage would meet me. After a hair-raising ride, I found myself, at exactly midnight, deposited in front of an ancient crumbling castle with no sign of life anywhere, except for the wolves that howled incessantly in the dark forest all about me.
Welcome to my house. Enter freely, and of your own will.
How do you do? I'm Jonathan Harker, in the service of Mr. Peter Hawkins.
Come freely, go safely, and live something of the happiness you bring.
I am to see Count Dracula.
I am Dracula, and I bid you welcome, Mr. Harker, to my house. Come in. The night air is chill, and you must have need to eat and rest.
Oh, no, let me...
Hey, sir. You are my guest. It is late and my people are not available. You must allow me to see to your comfort myself. Listen to them. The children of the night. What music they make. Come. Make yourself comfortable, Mr. Harker. Your dinner awaits you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much indeed. Here's a communique from my employer. Mr. Hawkins would have come himself, but alas, he suffers from gout and advanced age.
I know. Thank you, Mr. Harker. Here is to England.
Yes. To England. Oh my, that is excellent, Count.
Thank you, Mr. Harker. It is very old Tokay. I keep it for special guests. It has the color of life and the flavor of eternity. Now, Mr. Harker, please enjoy your meal. Mr. Hawkins appears to have much confidence in you, Mr. Harker. I trust that you deserve it.
Thank you, sir. I do hope so.
Tell me, how was your journey, Mr. Harker?
On the whole, quite enjoyable. I must admit, however, the urgency which seems to possess everyone in this part of the world has disconcerted me a bit.
Urgency, Mr. Harker.
Yes. Perhaps it's from what appears to be rampant superstition, but I noticed that when I left the inn at Bistritz, a sizable crowd had gathered in. They all seemed to be afraid of me. They often pointed two fingers in my direction.
The charm against the evil eye.
Yes, so I'm told. Nor were my traveling companions any more reassuring. I could have sworn from the way the driver pushed those horses, far more than seemed prudent or necessary, that everyone was anxious to be rid of me. But then once we reached the Borgo Pass, it's as if they were urging me to continue on with them. They were trying to prevent our meeting. Your calash, however, appeared only moments after we arrived. But we were over an hour early.
The fools. They thought to deceive me. But I know too much and my horses are swift.
Yes, but why would they want to prevent...
As you have noted, Mr. Harper, Our country abounds with superstition, and its people are simple.
Well, I can certainly understand the growth of such superstitions. The country seems very wild hereabouts. I noticed that as we came through the dark forest tonight, there were great packs of wolves that followed the calash along either side. If that weren't frightening enough, there occurred something so strange that I would have thought myself to be dreaming had I not been far too agitated for sleep. On 3 separate occasions, I saw what appeared to be a small blue flame burning off in the woods. And each time, your driver would stop the coach and then go in the direction of the flames, leaving me, I don't mind saying, in a near state of panic.
I am sorry for your discomfort, Mr. Harker. You see, it is the eve of St. George's Day. It is commonly believed that on this night, a blue flame is seen over any place where treasure has been hidden. You see, this blood-enriched ground was fought over for centuries by the Saxon, the Wallachian, and the Turk, and much of value has been sheltered in the friendly soil.
Yes, but if that were true, then how could it remain hidden for so long when its location is so clearly marked?
Because your peasant is, at heart, a fool and a coward. Those flames appear on only one night each year, and on that night, no man of this land will, if he can help it, stir without his doors. You see, it is believed that on this night, all evil things are at their highest power and move about unchecked. More wine, Mr. Harker.
Yes, thank you. Well, your coachman certainly is no coward. Showed not the slightest trepidation at venturing into the woods, despite the wolves. Apparently he's no fool either. He seemed to be erecting something of a stone marker under each flame.
For future use, no doubt.
Yes. Hope I'm not speaking out of turn, Count. He's a rather strange fellow. I noticed that when he helped me into the calash, he had immense strength. Once I thought I saw him pass between myself and one of the flames. It seemed to show right through, as if he were transparent.
How was your meal, Mr. Harper?
Excellent. What is it called?
It is called paprika kendel. The secret is an abundance of the red pepper from which it gets its name. But come, you must tell me of London and the house you have procured for me there.
Yes, of course. Just allow me to retrieve the notes that I made from Mr. Hawkins at the time I discovered the place. Sir, why do you wish to go to London, Count?
I fancy it will make me young again.
Yes, of course. Here we are. At Purfleet on a byway, I came upon such a place as seemed to be required. It contains some 20 acres and is surrounded by a stone wall of ancient structure. It is called Carfax. Now, the house itself is quite large and dates back, I should say, to medieval times. It is of stone with few windows, high up, and these are heavily barred. There are but few homes close at hand, one being a very large estate only recently turned into a private lunatic asylum. This, however, is not visible from the grounds.
I am glad that it is old and big. I myself am of an old family, and to live in a new house would kill me. A house cannot be made habitable in a day, and after all, how few days go to make up a century. I seek not gaiety and merit, nor the bright voluptuousness of much sunshine and sparkling waters. I am no longer young, and my heart is not attuned to merriment. Moreover, the walls of this castle are broken. The shadows are many, and wind breathes cold through the broken battlements and casements. I love the shade and shadow, and would be alone with my thoughts when I may.
Well, then I think you shall not be disappointed, sir.
You have done well, Mr. Harker. Now, you must stay with me for a few days, so that I may learn from you more of my new country. I have, through books, come to know your great England. And to know her is to love her. I long to go through the crowded streets of your mighty London, to be in the midst of the world and the rush of humanity, to share in its life, its change, its death, and all that makes it what it is. But, alas, it is only through books that I know your tongue. To you, my friend, I look that I know it to speak.
Oh, but Count, you seem to both know and speak English thoroughly.
Not so. Well, I know that did I move and speak in your London, none there are who would not know me for a stranger. That is not enough for me. Here, I am noble. I am boyar. The common people know me, and I am master. But a stranger in a strange land, he is no one. Men know him not, and to know not is to care not for. In England, I wish no man to stop if he see me, or pause in his speaking if he hear my words. I have been master so long that I would be master still. Or, at least, that none should be master of me. But the hour is late, and I must let you to your rest. Tomorrow, I shall be away until the late afternoon, and I shall join you then. I hope you will be comfortable.
Yes, thank you. With your permission, I should like to explore the castle and the grounds in your absence.
Of course. You may go where you wish, except where the doors are locked, where, of course, you will not wish to go. there is reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, perhaps you would better understand. We are in Transylvania, and Transylvania is not England. Our ways are not your ways, and there may be to you many strange things. Indeed, from what you have told me, you may already know something of what strange things there may be.
Yes, indeed.
I leave you then, and bid you pleasant rest. Oh, Mr. Harker, you must not leave your room during the night. Sleep well.
God! What kind of place am I?
These may be the last words I shall ever write in this journal. It is now nearly 2 months since I became a prisoner here. Dracula calls on me nightly, and we converse till dawn, ranging in topic all the disciplines known to man. So inverted have my sleeping habits grown that I fear I'm becoming of the same mind as he, and I'm increasingly unable to distinguish between my fantasies and reality. Though he assures me that I am free to go, every door I encounter by day is locked. Every night, great packs of wolves are just outside. Lately, I've sensed that he is making preparations to leave, and I have begun to fear for my life. In desperation, I have devised a plan. During the day, while Dracula sleeps, I've been practicing the scaling of a tower wall, by which I hope to escape. I'm now convinced that I can do it, and today, I shall make my try.
July 26th. When Lucy heard of my worry about Jonathan, she wrote and insisted that I join her and Whitby at their summer house for a few days of rest. Besides, she said, she had something very important to tell me, something that could not be written of. When I arrived, she met me at the station, looking sweeter and lovelier than ever. This is a beautiful place. Right above the town is the ruin of Whitby Abbey, which is the scene of the part of Marmion where the girl was built up into the wall. There is a legend that sometimes a white lady is seen in one of the windows. Between the abbey and the town is the parish church. This is, to my mind, the nicest spot in all of Whitby, for it has a full view of the harbour and all up the bay where a headland called Kettleness stretches out to the sea. The hillside descends so steeply that part of the land has fallen away and some of the graves have been destroyed. There are walks through the churchyard with seats beside them, and people go and sit all day long, looking at the beautiful view and enjoying the breeze.
You promised me no secrets. When I catch you. My words. I won't wait a moment longer, Lucy. You must tell me everything.
Lisa, how can I even begin to tell you? I'm really too excited to speak. Here I am, to be 20 in September, never before proposed to. Well, you know, not a real proposal at any rate. And last Sunday, I had 2 in one day. 2? I know. Isn't it nearly too much to be believed?
Yes. Well, what did you accept? Tell me.
Well, not both of them, of course.
Well, I wouldn't put it beyond you.
Nah. What a wicked thing to say. You know I've a true heart. Yes, I will admit to a slightly flirtatious character.
Lucy, am I never to know?
You will. But first, I must go back a bit. Now, it was the late spring, and I met and fell in love with a wonderful man, and he with me. His name is Dr. John Seward. Oh, and he is handsome, well off, and of good birth. He's only 9 and 20, and just fancy, he is an immense lunatic asylum under his own care. Now, I fully expected him to propose to me on my 20th birthday, but several days before, while Jack was away in London working, I met another man, an American, from Texas. Oh, and ever so handsome. He looks so young and fresh. It seems almost impossible that he has been so many places and had such adventures as he speaks of. Now, I wonder if we women think that a man who has been everywhere and still has no fear can save us from our own fears. And so we marry them.
Well, I should hope that there's more to it than that.
Well, I can certainly sympathize with poor Desdemona when she had such a dangerous stream poured into her ear. Oh, and by a beautiful black man, too. Anyway, Mr. Morris began to lavish me with attention, and it was the Sunday before my birthday I found myself quite alone here And though doesn't usually speak in slang, for he is remarkably well educated and has exquisite manners, he's discovered that it amuses me to hear him speak in his Texas vernacular, when there's no one around to offend. So, he took my hand in his and said, "Miss Lucy, now I know I ain't not good enough to carry out your bathwater, but I reckon you wait around long enough for a man who is, and you are gonna die an old maid. So why don't you just hitch up alongside me, we'll go down the road together driving in the double harness." Of course, I was flattered, and for a moment I nearly laughed. Oh, he looked so good-humored and jolly, I couldn't quite be sure he wasn't joking. And so I said, "Well, I don't know anything about hitching, and I have not yet broken to harness." Whereupon this earnest light came into his eyes, and he said he hoped he hadn't made a mistake in speaking in such a light manner on such a grave and momentous occasion. It was then that I saw how serious he was. And I know that you'll think I'm a horrible flirt, but I couldn't help but feel a bit serious too. And just for the briefest instant, I forgot that previous commitment of my heart. Something in my face must have shown it, for he began pouring out this perfect torrent of love-making, laying his very heart and soul at my feet, and suddenly I felt so very wicked. I suppose my eyes must have given me away, for abruptly he stopped and said, "Tell me, is there someone else you care for? For if there is, I shall trouble you no further, but I will be if you'll let me. Your ever good and faithful friend." Oh, Mina! Why is it that men are so noble? It seems as though we women are so little worthy of them. Here I was, merely making fun of this great-hearted, true gentleman, even as he was confessing to me the most noble and complimentary of desires. Immediately I burst into tears. But it was his look that gave me strength. And even though I was crying, I gazed into his brave eyes and I said, "Yes, there is someone I love. Though he has not yet said that he loves me." And of course, I was right to speak frankly. For this quiet light came about him, and he took my hands again and he said, "Miss Lucy, it is better worth being late for the chance of winning you than being in time for any other girl in the world." And then he dried my tears, and when I had quite finished crying, he smiled at me and said, "Now, I'm going to have a pretty lonely walk from here to Kingdom Come. Won't you give me one kiss?" I knew not what to say or do. He searched my face a while, and then he said, "For me, it will be something to keep away the darkness now and then." Oh, and with that my heart melted. And I raised my lips to him, and he took me in his arms, and he kissed me so long and deeply, that I thought I would swoon.
Oh my! And?
And then he walked quickly from the room without a backward glance. Had I been able to find my voice, I fear I should have pulled him back. Mina, why can we not just marry two men?
Lucy!
Mina, dear, you are my dearest and most trusted friend. I would not dare speak of these matters to anyone, but I was so surprised by my sympathetic attraction. But I thought perhaps I'd misunderstood love. Mina, is it not possible to love two men equally?
Oh, yes, for a time perhaps, but it is in our nature to have preferences and eventually they will arise.
And have you never been unsure of your love for Jonathan?
Not since I committed it.
Well, I had not yet committed mine to Jack at that point.
But you did.
Oh, he came that very afternoon, and so great was my emotion from all that had gone on before, and then the joy of seeing him, and I flung myself into his arms, and he was kissing me before barely a word was exchanged between us. And it was at that moment I was quite sure that it was he I loved, and none other.
And are you still sure?
Yes, Mina. I am quite sure.
Well, I'm very happy for you, Lucy.
Oh, you poor dear. Here I am, thinking only of myself. You must not worry. Communication from that part of the world is very slow. You will hear from Jonathan soon.
I do hope so. It is so completely unlike him to fail to write.
He will be back before you know it. And in the twinkling of an eye, we shall both have our things. You'll see.
Lucy, you are such a dear.
Lucy!
What has gone into you?
Days have passed, and with each one I grow more unhappy. I had not heard from Jonathan for well over 2 months. Then today, Mr. Hopkins sent me a letter that only just arrived. It was clearly Jonathan's handwriting, but it did not sound at all like him. It was only one line, dated over a month earlier from Castle Dracula, and saying that he was starting for home soon. It was very strange, and it only served to increase my anxiety. Then, too, Lucy has started taking to sleepwalking. Her mother has spoken to me about it, and she asked me to lock the door of our room every night. Mrs. Westerner has got the idea that sleepwalkers go out on the roofs of houses and cliffs and fall over with despairing cries that echo all over the place. But in spite of my efforts, Lucy has twice arisen during the night and tried to leave. Fortunately, on both occasions, I awoke in time and managed to get her back to bed. The strain of watching her is beginning to tell on me. Tonight, however, as I watched her sleeping, I was deeply moved by her beauty and innocence as she lay so sweetly peaceful, breathing softly. I was suddenly very happy that I would be here at such a time. If Dr. Seward fell in love with her, seeing her only in the drawing room, I wonder what he would say if he saw her now.
August 31st. It is now nearly a month since the onset of Lucy's illness. Though I am well versed in all modern diseases, I am unable to diagnose her affliction. She grows continually weaker and for no apparent reason. I have written to my old friend and master, Professor Abraham Heinrich van Helsing in Amsterdam. He knows more about obscure diseases than anyone in the world. Meanwhile, I had her transferred here to London, where I shall be better able to treat her with all the facilities of modern science at hand while going on with my work, which is at present very demanding. Though my duties are many, it is my research, my quest for knowledge in this infant science of the brain that occupies my mind. I am particularly interested in the case of a patient named Renfield. In his madness, there seems to be some intelligence that rivals even my own. I feel that if I could understand it, I would be better able to discern the true nature of insanity and thereby bring help to all the tortured souls that are locked in places like this.
May I see your book, Renfield? Please, I'll give it back. You were an accountant before you came here, Renfield.
An accountant is one who takes things into account, and yes, I was. I have tried since my earliest memory to account for things, to see cause and effect. I have concluded, however, that such efforts interfere with one's ability to become truly circumspect.
How do you mean?
Well, if we accept one explanation for a set of circumstances, we obscure further truths that may be hidden there. On the other hand, if we reject all explanations, we are free to continue our quest.
For example?
For example, the resurrection! Scholars and theologians have posited that the resurrection of Christ was to show proof of the power of God, or to give mankind hope. But if we accept such simple-minded explanations, we have closed the book on the question, with no real knowledge that these explanations are correct.
But is there any other explanation in this case?
Oh, there are more things than heaven and earth, Rocio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. What if it had nothing to do with God at all? What if Christ, like cats, simply had more than one life?
Surely you don't believe that cats live more than one. It is my understanding that that is an expression that relates more to a cat's persistence. Its strength to go on living when other things cannot.
Exactly, Doctor. How much life is there in one life? How is it contained? Can one get more? When does it end? Why does a cat have more life than, say, a fly? Who has more life, Doctor? You or I?
Is there a difference between men?
At this moment, there is, Doctor. Your life expectancy at this point could very well be 0!
My letter opener. Where did you get it?
I found it in the dustbin, Doctor. You should be more careful. Some of the inmates in here are dangerous, you know.
Well, thank you for returning it. Now back to the resurrection. I don't quite understand your ideas. Explain.
I tried to avoid explanations, Doctor. As I said, I tried to be circumspect.
But if one does not look for cause and effect, the lessons it teaches, how can one know how to act, what to do in any given situation?
Do you pretend that it is you who decides what you do, Doctor?
Yes.
Just now, when I had the knife to your throat, it was I who decided for you!
No, Renfield. You were the external circumstances on my life at that moment. But it was my reason that told me to be still.
Then you believe that your life to be a product of your reason?
In a very large part, yes.
My life must be a product of my lack of reason. And that is why you have me in this unreasoning place. Or should I say unreasonable?
Back to the resurrection, Renfield. How did it happen, if not as we are told?
He simply had more life, that's all. He had enough not to die the first time.
Then why didn't he stay after he came back? Why didn't he go on living?
Because he'd given too much of it away.
Given it away?
Yes, this is my body. Eat. This is my blood. Drink. Those are his words, are they not, Doctor? Can I have my book back now, please?
After you explain it to me.
Must I?
On these pages are long columns of numbers. What do they mean?
They are fly life values.
Fly life values?
Yes. You see, I rate the life of a fly on a scale of 1 to 10. I judge them on how big they are, how fast they fly, how smart they are, and how hard they are to catch.
Is that what you use the sugar for, Renfield?
Yes! Oh, Doctor, will you not let me have my sugar anymore, now that you know what I use it for?
As long as you are cooperative, Renfield, you shall continue to have your daily rations of sugar.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Seward. You are indeed a kind man. And for my part, I shall be a model prisoner.
You are not a prisoner, Renfield. You are a patient.
I'm afraid it's all the same to me, Doctor.
Yes, I suppose so. Now, I've noticed on these pages that you have added all these figures together, and on this page, you have totaled them. What does that mean?
Each page represents a day. The totals represent the total life values of the flies that I caught that day. The totals of the totals, quite logically, represent the total life values of the spiders that I fed the flies to.
Yes, but... What? Some of these totals of totals are added together to make even larger totals, while some are omitted. What of that?
Larger totals represent the total life values of the birds that I fed the spiders to.
But some are still omitted. Are those spiders still alive?
No. Those are the ones that I ate myself. I must too, you know.
But we feed you, Renfield.
You feed me? But one can't get life out of dead things. They must be alive in order to accumulate more life.
How much life do you have now, Renfield?
A lot, Doctor. A lot. But I want more. Lots more. Can I have my book back now, please, Doctor?
Yes, of course. I have to go now, Renfield. I shall see you again soon.
Oh, Dr. Seward.
Yes, Renfield.
I was wondering, might I have a kitten?
A kitten, Renfield?
Yes, to keep me company and to play with. A nice shiny kitten to pet, to train, to feed.
I shall think on it, Renfield.
Oh, please, Dr. Seward, it means so much to me. I wouldn't be any trouble. I'd answer all of your questions.
I said I shall think on it.
What? Harder than old kids at me! I take care of it and everything!
Renfield! Renfield! If you are to continue to have any more privileges, you must learn to control yourself.
Right, Dr. Seward. I'll be good. I promise. I'll be good.
That's better, Renfield.
I'll be good.
I shall see you again tomorrow.
I promise I'll be good. I'll be good, Dr. Seward. I'll be good. I'll be good.
September 3rd. Good news. Professor Van Helsing arrived today. I am relieved to have his counsel. He is a seemingly arbitrary man, but this is because he knows what he is talking about. He is a philosopher and a metaphysician and one of the most advanced scientists of the day. And he has, I believe, an absolutely open mind, coupled with an iron nerve, the temper of an icebrook, an indomitable resolution, self-command and toleration, and the kindliest and truest heart that beats. When he arrived, I took him immediately to see Lucy, who had taken a decided turn for the worse during the night.
You are right, John. She is bad. Very bad. There's no time to waste. We must act at once. We must make the transfusion of the blood.
Heinrich, that is too dangerous. It could kill her.
And she will die anyway if we do nothing. Transfusion works in some cases. It is our only hope.
Very well.
You're willing?
Willing. I'd give my last drop of blood if you could save her life.
Oh, last drop. Good. I shall not need so much dressing. Make yourself ready. I have the required equipment here. The ghastly paraphernalia of the beneficial trade. Here, next to you. You may have one kiss before we begin. Are you ready, friend George?
Yes.
The needle in the vein. Could you improve?
Take calm. We were so happy. We were to be married in little than a month. I'd gladly give up all my happiness if we could, let's say, her life.
What is wanted here, Fred John, is not for you to forswear your love, but to give it freely. As you are. Believe, no marriage ceremony means more.
It's strange, but I feel as if we are already married. A man does not know until he experiences it. what it's like to have the life's blood drawn into the veins of a woman you love.
I know of no disease that can destroy the blood so quickly. Has she been out of bed?
I think not. She has been very weak and has been someone quite near her since we brought her to London from Whitby.
Near her, but not always with her.
What are you implying, Hyman?
Huh? Oh, I'm not implying anything. I'm merely trying to learn all of the facts. She has lost much blood, yeah? Where has it gone?
That is the central mystery of her illness.
Which we must solve.
There is one thing which is strange.
Yeah?
There are two wounds on her throat, just over her jugular vein. I thought they might have something to do with the illness, but abandoned the idea because with such a manifest blood loss could hardly go unnoticed. She insists on covering them with that ribbon. The strange thing is that the wounds coincidentally appear at the onset of her illness, and have since yet healed.
Oh my God! Hyman, what is it? Oh, she has enough blood to sustain her now, my friend. And we don't want to overtire you, huh? I shall get some wine to replenish your strength. No, John! No!
It's all right. It's all right. This is Professor Van Helsing, my old teacher. He has come to help me through.
How do you do, Professor? It's spoken up to my ears.
Oh, kindly, I hope. I must say that he fell short in describing of you. He told me that you were beautiful, but he did not manage to say just how beautiful you were, my dear. May I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Could you tell me, how did you get the wounds on your throat?
I don't know. I think it was an accident with a brooch or a skunk fastener.
Are you certain?
No, not at all.
To speak of all of this later is not important now. Now, you must get some sleep, huh?
No, please no, I do not want to. I'm so afraid.
What? Afraid to sleep? Why?
No, that is what is so dreadful. See, all of this weakness comes to me in sleep. I have these horrible nightmares that I cannot remember, but they make me terrified. Please, don't even the very thought of sleep.
Oh, we shall awaken you at the first sign of bad dreams, yeah? And this will help you in your quest for restful sleep. Ah.
Sleep well, madame.
Thank you.
What is it, Heinrich?
I don't believe it, John. I think I know. But I don't know. I have seen much here that is strange. I must return to Amsterdam immediately and consult with books that I have there. I must have more knowledge. Please do not ask me for an explanation. At this point, an explanation would only confuse. In the meantime, I should like you to gather together all your notes, everything to do with Miss Lucy's illness. While I am gone, she must be watched at all times.
Darling Jack, I am still unable to sleep, and this nameless fear and longing possess me. I fear I am lost. Somehow, without knowing why, I fear that the end is near. I write this so that you may know my last thoughts are of you. A strange drowsiness as before descends over me, and I am afraid of its oblivion, and yet I long for it. This room is so small and stuffy, I must leave it no matter what the cost. Please try to believe that I loved you.
Only habit and resolution can let me make an entry in this diary tonight. I am so miserable at this moment that I would not care if I heard the flapping of the wings of the angel of death coming for me. My darling Lucy is no more. As she lay on her bed, at last released from her suffering, she had a beatific look on her face. Death had given back part of her beauty. Even her lips had lost their deadly pallor. It was as if the blood no longer needed for the working of the heart had gone to make the harshness of death less rude. The mystery of her illness is compounded, however. Not only did the 2 tiny wounds on her throat totally disappear, but her teeth, particularly the canines, seemed to have grown somewhat longer and sharper. Further, her feet were covered with earth as if she had been walking in the garden, though I know that she did not have the strength to do so. She left a note which spoke of fear, longing, and oblivion. It also said that her last thoughts were of me.
Yes, Anya. I have finished, friend John. It is as we have feared. How can that be? Another mystery of nature which science must solve. It may be that we can save another's anguish that you now suffer, my friend. Somewhere else there's another, such as Lucy, full of life and hope, certain to be victimized. Madamina, would you be so kind as to ask your husband to come in, please?
Yes, of course.
What can we do? There are several things. But first, I believe we should hear Mr. Harker's experiences. I believe they are most important. Ah, my friends, please come in, come in. Thank you. All of this has been very helpful. Though I had wished otherwise, your journals have only confirmed my darkest fears. What I am about to tell you will seem contrary to everything that modern science has taught us. But I believe that it is true. We must face it with our scientific knowledge. As you are aware, the folklore of many cultures has stories of strange and unnatural creatures. Many years ago, I began to wonder if these stories did not have some factual base. And as a matter of interest, I have long pursued the study. But never before have I found actual evidence. Nosferatu.
What are you saying, Dr. Van Helsing?
I am saying that our dear Miss Lucy was a victim of a vampire!
The blood is the life!
Renfield, how did you get out of your quarters?
Oh, it was simple, Doctor. I escaped! Do you think it impossible to do with those fools you employ to watch over us? You are not in charge anymore. I can come and go as I like. I see all of your motives and your plans. The master is at hand, and you are at our mercy. The famous Dr. Van Helsing. I've heard so much about you. How nice of you to join us this evening, and so full of life, too.
Hello, Mr. Renfield. Dr. Stewart has spoken of you.
Kindly, I presume. My, but aren't you beautiful? But you're not the girl the doctor was going to marry. No, you can't be. She's dead.
No, I am her friend, Mina Harker, and this is my husband, Jonathan Harker.
Huh.
How did you know I wanted to marry Renfield?
Oh, really, Doctor? What an asinine question. You will, of course, Mrs. Harker, understand that when a man is so loved and honored, as is our host, everything about him is of interest, especially in our little community, where the closeness and the rigidity of the limits force one's attention inwards. You see, Dr. Seward is not only loved by his household and his friends, but also by his patients, some of whom could hardly be said to be in mental equilibrium. and some who bask in the sunshine of his care actually find themselves restored to a path of reason. Oh, I hope I'm not embarrassing you, Doctor. You see, I myself am a perfect example. Why, I used to fancy that by eating a multitude of live things, no matter how low on the creation scale, that one could indefinitely prolong life. Cricket?
Are you saying you no longer hold those beliefs, Redfield?
I have no knowledge, Doctor. I have become familiar with the scriptural phrase, the blood is the life. You are no doubt familiar with it. The blood is the life. The blood is the life. The blood is the life! 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 Would you care to drink of my life?
Good God, man! Watch yourself!
Watch yourself!
Mr. Redfield, please! Please, put down the knife. Please. For my sake. Please.
Let's go. Goodbye, my dear. I hope to never see your sweet face again. You must leave here! You must leave here at once! Get out of here! I think I'm going to be sick. I'm going to be sick.
Good God! Feathers?
On earth did he get feathers in his stomach? I apologize to you all. I'm afraid he has eaten his birds.
Oh.
I have never seen anything like it. He is an incredibly difficult man to contain no matter what restraints we put on him. Back to what you were saying, Heinrich.
As I was saying, all of the combined evidence points to the existence of a vampire, perhaps even yet, right here in London. Yeah, it's difficult to believe, I know, but it is precisely a lack of belief that allows him to do his will. Mr. Harker, I have no wish to recall unpleasant things for you, but I should like to ask you a question or two concerning your journal.
Yes, of course. I believe I can withstand it now.
Good. You went to Transylvania to see a man. Can you tell me why?
Yes, I was to help him complete his arrangements for a purchase of an estate in London.
And do you recall its exact location?
Well, no.
I believe that in your journal you called it Carfax.
My God! Yes, I remember now. It was in this very district.
Yes, this is exactly what I was afraid of.
Then that means...
Yes, John, it means it's a man that imprisoned Mr. Harker. It's your next-door neighbor. And if he is what I think he is, then his presence could explain Miss Lucy's strange disease.
But Lucy was taken ill in Whitby.
Yes, but she continued to decline and died here in London. Now, I believe that the Whitby onset can be explained by an entry in Madame Nina's diary. At about the same time that Miss Lucy began her sleepwalking, she records the arrival of a strange ship during a mysteriously uncommon storm.
Yes, I remember it well. There was much fear about the town and the talk of supernatural forces.
Oh, the superstitions of the sea are not taken lightly in seafaring towns.
The ship's log, it told of the entire crew going completely mad and disappearing one by one. There was only one man found aboard the ship. That was the captain, but he was dead, lashed to the wheel with some beads and a crucifix about his neck.
Yeah, I believe that our mysterious count may very well have arrived in England at Whitby aboard this ship. You see, the Demeter, as she was called, sailed from Varna.
Is it possible?
Yes, I believe it is.
Then I have done a terrible thing.
What do you mean?
I invited him here.
What?
A few days ago, I received a message wanting to discuss a contribution to my hospital. I was feeling quite neighborly and no doubt a little interested in the contribution, so I invited him here to dinner tonight.
You invited him to dinner tonight?
Yes.
Count Dracula?
Yes.
Oh,
I didn't.
Good evening. I hope I am not late. Ah, Miss Murray, you are enchanting.
She's Mrs. Harker now.
Yes, of course. How careless of me. I trust you had a safe return from my homeland, Mr. Harker.
I don't recall.
You should have departed as you came, with my help. It is never wise to travel unassisted in a foreign locale. But then you seemed, how do you say, all at sea? Dr. Stewart, how nice of you to share your friends with me. I have read your recent paper on zoophagous insanity. I believe that is a word that you coined, is it not?
It means life-eating.
Yes, I know. And this is the famous Dr. Abraham Van Helsing.
How do you do, Herr Count? I am surprised that you should know me.
Reading is a favorite avocation with me. I have much time for it, and as a result I learn many things. I know you through your book on ancient superstitions.
Ah, but I also know you. Well, perhaps I should say, your ancestor? You see, in the 15th century, there was a man by the name of Vlad Tepes, a name which, when translated, means Vlad the Impaler, a name no doubt derived from his favorite form of execution. He is said to have skewered and sharpened poles like meat on toothpicks between 75 and 100,000 people.
Enemies, wrongdoers, and thieves.
He was so feared that the priceless gold drinking cup that he placed on a public well remains there for 6 years. No thief daring to take it.
He had a high respect for honesty, and often rewarded it.
This same Vlad was also surnamed Dracula.
A name which translated means son of the dragon.
Or son of the devil, and you claim to be descended from him.
So it is said.
Don't you know?
What I know, Dr. Van Helsing, would astound even you.
Would you like some wine, Count Dracula?
Thank you. Boy, I believe this is the finest claret I have ever tasted.
Thank you. It was a legacy from my father. You know, wines were his passion. He spent a lifetime studying and collecting them. When he died, I was offered large sums of money for his cellar, but I chose instead to enjoy it, as a way of prolonging his presence. I never open a bottle without thinking that somehow he lives on through the wine.
How interesting.
Yes, and I think I am inheriting that avocation as well. For now, I find myself adding to the cellar just as fast as I deplete it. You know, it's strange. When he was alive, I didn't care tuppence about it. I wish I had. I think of the pleasures we might have shared before his death if I did.
It's a shame that life is so short, yeah? I sometimes think that We have barely begun to master its lessons before we are snatched out of school, so to speak.
And just as in school, there are moments that seem unbearably long. I just wish it were over.
But my friend, that is your work, and those that depend upon you. For these you must find the courage to go on. Dr. Seward has recently suffered the loss of his fiancée due to an obscure malady.
Yes, I know. My deepest sympathies, Dr. Seward.
How do you know Count Dracula?
I read it in the papers. But it can also be seen in his face, dear lady.
Yes, I suppose it can.
I've considered ending it all.
There comes a time in each man's life when he must choose between living and dying. But you must choose to live, Fray John. You know that reason which gives us a choice in the first place also enables us to find new meaning.
I doubt we have any real apprehension of the meaning. Though I understand it better now, I felt it more when I was 15. When I compare my enthusiasm for life now with what it was then, I think by the time I'm 60, I shall be quite ready to die.
60? What do you think, Count Dracula? Does the will to live remain strong enough to bear the weight of existence, no matter how long a man might live?
It is your insistence on searching for meaning that creates what you call the weight of existence. There is no meaning. There is only the search. When you give up the search, there is no weight. Life, death, time, all are unimportant.
Then what is important?
Knowledge, power, beauty.
Love.
A form of power. A power that reciprocates. Like all powers, if it is abused, it is lost.
Have you ever been in love, Count Dracula?
Can you not see a woman's mark on me, dear lady? I am in love.
Here's a treatise on love that you should read sometime.
Van Helsing! You know a great deal for a man who has lived only one lifetime. Dr. Seward, I must take my leave now. Again, let me express my sympathy for your loss and my thanks for inviting me here this evening. Beautiful Mina, it was wonderful to see you again. No, thank you, Mr. Harker. I'll show myself out.
Can there be any doubt now? Incredible.
Priest, Billy, is that priest?
I swear, it's the same man. He's at least 50 years younger. Don, he said it was wonderful to see you again. Where has he seen you before?
He must have been nearby the night I found poor Lucy in the garden. Perhaps that was...
If only I had known. My friends, I do not wish to alarm you further, but he knows us now. And he knows that we know him. So we must come to an important decision. We can forget what we know. We can go on with our lives. Hopes that he will return to his homeland now that he has accomplished his ends with our dear Miss Lucy. Or, for the sake of his future victims, we can destroy him. For me, the first is unthinkable. But in the second, there's much danger. And the circumstances of our lives are much different. Let me explain something to you of the enemy that we face. He's very old, very powerful. He has consumed many lifetimes and accumulated the strength and the knowledge of each of them. He's cursed to live forever if no one stops him. But like the rest of us, he continues to grow old until he must replenish his youth by stealing the lifeblood of another. He preys on beautiful women because they are the epitome of this life. It is no doubt the blood of our dear Miss Lucy, taken in unholy communion, that accounts for the change that Mr. Harker has seen in Dracula. He is truly a creature of the darkness. But this is not the worst. You see, the bite of the vampire is contagious. His victim becomes his bride, forced to join him forever in this terrible undead state.
Then Lucy...
Yes, friend John.
What can we do?
If we choose to oppose him, we can rely on our faith, on our scientific knowledge, and on our superior ability to function during the daylight hours. During the day, his powers are limited. But at night he becomes all-powerful. With great strength, cunning, he is able to appear in any animal form that he chooses. He can control the elements. He can appear and disappear out of nowhere. And I must warn you that once he has been invited into a life, there can be no safety while he lives. There's only one way to kill him. He must place a wooden stake in his heart, and then he turns into the dust that he should be at 400 years. We are face to face with the beast, gentlemen. From such a challenge can we shrink? For me, I say no. But I am an old man, and life, and its love, and its music, is far behind. But you are young men with many fair days yet ahead. So, what say you?
There's no question, Ione. I'm with you.
I answer yea, for my wife and myself.
Good. Good. Then we must make our plans, huh? But first, Madam Mina, much of what I am about to say will be abhorrent to ears as sensitive as yours. Perhaps it would be better if you excused us for a moment.
Thank you, Professor. But I am much stronger than you think. I have already seen and heard things of unsurpassable horror. We need have no secrets among us. Together, we can surely be stronger than if some of us were kept in the dark.
Very well. May the good God forgive me if I do wrong, for there is more terrible things yet to be heard of. I am told that you are skilled in the art of shorthand and also accomplished with this new invention, the typewriter.
At the risk of appearing immodest, Professor, that is true.
Excellent. It will be of great value if what we say and do hereafter is recorded.
Yes, of course. I should be glad to help in any way that I can. Please excuse me 1 moment while I retrieve my notebook.
It's a good Madam Mina. A man's brain with a woman's heart, huh? The good God made her for a purpose when he fashioned such a good combination. But hear me, gentlemen. She must have nothing more to do with this than I have already spoken of. This is not a job for a woman. Even if she were not harmed, her heart may fail her, or she may suffer in years to come, both in waking through her nerves and sleeping in her dreams. Besides, she is young and not too long married. There may be other things to worry about sometime. If not now.
I'm grateful to you for protecting her, sir.
Ah, of course. She is a fortunate young woman to have such a gallant young man as...
Now shall we begin?
But first, dear friends, let us join hands for a moment of silent prayer and conviction to ourselves and to our terrible task. Our faith will surely be tested, and we shall need God's help. Amen.
Amen.
So, here is our plan. Oh. Here is our plan. Tonight, before sunrise, we shall go to the West Turner tomb, and we shall open Miss Lucy's casket. If she is there and truly dead, it will be obvious by the state of decomposition of the body. But if my theory is correct, she will be lying there just as beautiful as ever. Or she will be out in the night, which I think is most likely the case. At any rate, she will return before dawn. And when she is once again at rest, we must place a wooden stake through her heart.
You can't mean that, Heinrich.
My friend, it is
Heinrich, you cannot mean that. We are not going to
truly die, and her soul find freedom. Then later in the day, we shall go to Carfax to find this Dracula and do the same for him. Now, here is a crucifix. From his early beginnings, he so respects signs of true purity that he is powerless to do harm to people who wear them. You must keep them about you at all times while we do this business. Of course, Madam Mina, you will stay here where you are protected.
No!
Yes! You are too precious to us to suffer such risks, and you must be our hope and our shining star, and we will be able to act all the more freely knowing that you are not in danger.
Very well.
Good. Now, gentlemen, there are things we must gather together before we leave.
sorry, Nina. You must be exhausted.
No, of course not. But you must be getting some rest.
Yes, very soon. I wanted to thank you for all that you and Jonathan have done. I know you love my dear Lucy.
Poor Dr. Stewart, I did love her. I know what she was to you and what you were to her. She and I were like sisters. Now that she is gone, let me be like a sister to you in your grief. Sympathy can help. So let me comfort you for dear Lucy's sake.
I can hardly think of my life without my dear Lucy. And I must go defile her memory. I'm sorry, Mina. I did not.
Nonsense, Dr. Sue.
All these weary days and sleepless nights, I have been unable to talk to anyone. I shall never forget your kindness at this moment.
Oh.
You will let me be like a brother to you, will you not? For our sakes. For dear Lucy's sake.
Yes, for dear Lucy's sake and for yours.
Aye. And yours. Mr. Harper, you have a wonderful wife. I shall read out.
Ah, I see you've been comforting him. Poor fellow, he needs it. No one but a woman can comfort a man when he's in troubles of the heart.
I wish I could comfort all who suffer from the heart. But Jonathan, it makes me think of you away, and somehow I just knew things weren't right. My heart ached so. How fortunate we are to have each other, and yet how afraid I am.
You needn't be, my darling. We shall be most cautious. But, as for you, you must go right to bed and go to sleep now.
Jonathan, how can a woman go to sleep when those she loves are in danger? Nonetheless, I shall try, if only to ease your mind.
It's my girl. Check the door.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Must you go? Couldn't Dr. Seward and Professor Van Helsing go alone?
My duty calls me, Mina.
And have you no duty to me?
Mina!
I'm sorry, Jonathan, I did not mean to sound selfish. I'll be all right. You can go now.
Just rest now. Rest well. We'll be back in no time, you'll see.
You must stay here, or Mr. Harker and I go into the tomb. If what we fear is true, you need not look. But if we are correct, then we will make the preparations, and you must come help us.
Lucy!
My own, my sweet Jack.
But how can it be?
It is I, Jack.
How beautiful you look.
I long for you, Jack.
But you are with him now, are you not?
Am I not, beautiful Jack?
Lucy, tell me what it's like. Do you love him,
Jack? Look at me. Come. Be with me. I long for you. Oh, it is so lonely without you.
Oh, my love. I'd give anything.
Come, Jack. Come with me. Come with me, Jack. Come.
No!
Oh,
God! John, sword! You are a scientist, rational man. See her with your eyes, John. Oh, that is not Lucy. It is a vile, unnatural creature.
Jack, I need
See her with your eyes, John.
I long for you, Jack. Come with me. Oh, Jack.
John! You are too late, Lucy. It is the dawn.
No. No, I can't.
You must be the one to set her free. If you do not, you will never forgive yourself. Your love for her makes it your right. Her love for you makes it your duty.
Good evening, Mr. Renfield. Shouldn't you be in your quarters?
No. I
I came to see you.
Oh, how nice. Please, won't you sit down?
No, no. I wanted to ask you, why are you here?
Oh, well, Dr. Seward's fiancée was a very dear friend of mine, and her death came as a shock, so my husband and I...
No. I mean, why are you in league with those fools? They don't respect you, they don't value you, they don't...
Mr. Renfield, please, I will not allow you to say such things.
You must leave here at once.
Well, what is it, Mr. Renfield?
Oh my God, you are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Renfield, but don't believe it.
If only you, if only I. Oh, Master. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
Calm yourself, Mr. Harker.
I thought you knew what you were doing.
There is much that is not known by anyone. I thought that his bloodlust had been satisfied. I made a mistake.
A mistake? My God! How has it come to this? But has heaven decreed it? Am I the guilty one? You have no idea what agony it is to doubt everything. Even yourself. I must know what he did to her. You must tell me everything.
I can tell you that when the cat's away, the mice will play.
Where were you, Mr. Enfield?
Oh, I saw it all through the window.
And what did you see? Tell me, you fiend!
I saw that she didn't seem to mind.
You cannot judge such things, Mr. Harker.
You left her alone. I wouldn't have left her alone. You left her alone.
Mr. Enfield, please. Can you tell us anything at all?
I ran out. Yeah. I didn't want to, but I did. I was just trying to... He made me do it. He did. He promised me things. Not in words, but by doing them. In the beginning, he sent me flies. Big, fat ones with steel and sapphire on the wings. And then he sent me moths. Big moths with skull and crossbones on their back. And then last night, a miracle. Rats. Hundreds, thousands, millions of rats. I looked out and I saw this black swarm going across the lawn, coming on like the shape of a flame of fire. And then he waved his hand and the mist moved away. And I could see their eyes. They were blazing like his, only they were smaller. Then a large bat flew through the open door. And when I dared to look, he was standing over her. So what happened after that? I remember nothing. Nothing. I remember nothing. Well, I'm sorry, Dr. Seward. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to let him in. I'm sorry.
Let's be done with this one before I lose my temper and murder the brute.
Yes, I believe he can help us no further. Thank you, Mr. Enfield. I shall take you to your room.
I didn't mean that, man. No. Let me entreat you, Dr. Seward. No, let me implore you. Let me out of this house. Send me away from here, manacled and leg iron, or even to jail, but send me away from you and save my soul from guilt.
Renfield, please.
Can't you hear me, man? Can't you understand? Don't you know that I am sane and earnest now?
Get him out.
Don't you know that I am not a mad lunatic, but I'm a sane man fighting for my soul?
Renfield,
please, Dr. Seward, hear me. Please hear me, hear me, hear me.
Go, Renfield,
go.
Let me go.
Let me go, let me go.
No more! Back to your God!
No, let me go.
Go back to your quarters and then try to behave more discreetly if you have any hope of convincing me of what's happened.
You will, I trust, Dr. Seward. Do me the justice to bear in mind, later on, that I did everything I could to convince you today. I did everything I could to convince you. I did everything I could to convince you. I did everything. I did everything. I did everything. I did everything.
My God, Jack. How could I have been so stupid? He tried to seduce her right in front of us. The attraction was all too clear. I mean, then I let that old fool lure me away on some unspeakably grotesque adventure to go. God. Jack, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bring it up.
It was unspeakably grotesque. But for you, there's still time. Still hope. Lucy's gone forever, but you can still protect me. Thanks to that old fool, you have knowledge.
Jack, I'm sorry. I apologize. She said I'm so exhausted and upset and... It's as if something's lost now, something that me and I once had. We can never have again.
I know. I'm sorry too. It was I who invited him here.
Yes, but you could not have known the consequences, friend John.
I must go see how she is.
Friend John, you must not brood anymore.
She reached out to me, Heinrich. I loved her.
Ah, love. Love is like a narcotic, John. It takes away many of the pains of the world, but when we lose it, the pain returns many times stronger. If we are to endure, we must remember that life has other meanings and not...
And what does it all mean, Heinrich? I am beginning to think that my life among the insane has started to tell upon my own brain. I think that one day we will all wake to sanity in straitjackets, Redfield ministering to us, and the one thing I cannot bear is my own self-righteous feeling. I felt hatred for her, Heinrich, as she lay there, so beautiful. My love turned to hate, because I imagined that somehow she wanted to be where she was. That it was her fault. I asked myself, had she been pure of heart? Would she have been susceptible to his evil?
My friend, I can tell you that no one is immune to all evil, and that there is no such thing as a pure heart. Life, in its infinite metamorphosis, is far too complicated, and we are too much the victims of our own beginnings to ever remain completely pure.
She might have resisted hope.
She could not. She was too young. She was too inexperienced. She was helpless. But you must not think of this any further, or you will indeed go mad. Those thoughts must leave her now, and turn to the salvation of others. It is there lies your salvation.
Then what can I do? What can you do? What can anyone do?
We can do our best. If our best is good enough, we succeed. If not, we fail. But we must not fail to act.
What shall we do?
You must go to Mr. Harper's room, and you must tell him that he must not leave his wife, not for a moment. Tell Dracula has already attacked her once, and he would no doubt love to make her his eternal concubine. Then, you come back here, and then you and I, my friend, we shall go to Carfax Abbey to find and to destroy him.
wish they would get back. They've been gone all day. Nearly an hour past sunset now. Perhaps I should go looking for them.
No, please, Jonathan, don't leave me.
No, of course I won't die. Careless already.
I'm sorry to be such a bother, Jonathan. I feel so frightened and guilty and unclean.
Now stop that now. You are not to blame. Last.
Ah, how is our beautiful patient today, huh?
A bit weak, but otherwise I'm quite alright.
Any luck?
Not yet. The grounds are overgrown with bramble and bush. We are both terribly exhausted. We think that he lies in a vault beneath the chapel, but have been unable to find a way in. Perhaps tomorrow.
You will be as good as new in no time. Mr. Harker, you must stay with your wife at all times. Dr. Seward and I will continue with our plans.
Why? What's happened? Jonathan, what are your plans?
Sorry, now. Cannot say.
Why must I suffer not knowing along with this fear and weakness? Why do you separate yourselves from me when I am so alone?
Oh, Madamina, it is so very sad. You see, last night we made a very bad mistake, and so now we must isolate you, not only to protect you, but to protect ourselves. You see, I believe that he now has access to your mind and could know all that you know. So, for us to succeed, you must not know our plan.
It's all so dreadful.
Tomorrow we shall rid you of all your fears and tell you all. Get some sleep now, my dear.
Thank you, Professor. I'm sorry to be so difficult.
Difficult? Difficult, my dear. You have been cruelly victimized. But I promise you, we shall have your revenge.
Professor, please, think not of revenge, but for charity for your soul. One day I too may need your pity.
Dear, kind Madamina, of course. Of course. You need not worry about that now. You are safe here. Here's your husband beside you. Dr. Seward and I shall be in our rooms right down the hall. One of us will be awake at all times. Get some sleep now, my dear.
Yes.
Will you read to me a while? Don't feel much like sleeping. It frightens me.
Yes, of course.
My favorite.
Well. Down. Would the fall never come to an end? I wonder how many miles I've fallen so far, Alice spoke aloud.
Jonathan!
Yes.
Check the doors! Check the doors!
Darling, I did. Right
No!
before...
Again! Please!
Very well.
Jonathan Harker, unlock the doors. The power of eternity bids you do my will. Unlock the doors.
I loved you from the first moment I saw you in the garden.
No! No, master. No. You shall not take this one. There are others, master. You must take one of the others, please. Master, no, master. I'll be good. I'll be good. No, master. No! Ah! No, master.
Most beloved of all, my bountiful white breast, my bride.
This life is no longer than the space between two heartbeats. I give you eternal. When I say come, you shall cross land and sea to do my bidding.
It's almost sunrise. We can keep him here until the sun rises. We can hold him in the daylight and destroy him.
So, you think to play your brains against me? Against me, who commanded nations hundreds of years before you were born? You, with your pale faces all in a row, like sheep at the butcher's. The women you love are all mine. You develop ideas and systems to protect them from me because you think they are weak, and you fear their desire. Desire that you work to awaken, but which leaves you trembling with a sense of inadequacy. It is your fear that makes you weak, gentlemen. At the bottom, you would like to be in my place, but you lack the courage. How ludicrous you are in your futility. If you really knew who you were, you would have no need to fear me.
Ah! lesson in manhood. Now we will watch the sunrise together, and I will give you a lesson in eternity.
Look at you, Van Helsing. You cling to your mortality. You know that I can easily kill you, and you are afraid. You have accomplished much since childhood, Van Helsing. But you have failed to conquer life's greatest limitation, fear. You are still afraid to die. And so you shall not kill me. And I shall leave you to live in fear.
What has happened?
He's broken my arm. Seizures the others.
My God. What do we do now?
You are sleepy. Very sleepy. Close your eyes. Sleep. Restful sleep. Do you hear me, Madam Mina?
Yes.
Good. Mr. Harker, I believe that since he has penetrated her mind, that she may now have access to his. And that by questioning her under hypnosis, we may discover his whereabouts. Madam Mina, do you hear me?
Yes.
I want you to travel through space in your mind. There's a place where Dracula is. Do you understand?
Yes.
Go there now. God! Madam Mina, what do you see?
Darkness. Everything in darkness.
The smells. Are there any smells?
Earth. Damp, moldy earth.
The sounds. What do you hear?
It is very still. It is like death.
Where are you?
I'm with him.
Where is he?
Blood of my blood. Flesh
No good.
of
He
my
has blocked her
flesh.
mind.
Kin of my kin.
Madam Mina, I wish you to
Most
return to
beloved
this
of all.
room now.
When I say come, You shall cross land and sea
Madamina,
to do
it was
my
I who
bidding.
sent you, and you must obey my command to return!
Do something!
Mina!
No more of this! I'm right here, darling. I'm right here.
I have such dreams. I could see through my eyelids.
Jack, we are leaving here now!
But Mr. Hawk!
No! No more of this! We shall no longer be your bait! Mina has suffered enough! I have suffered enough!
Oh, Mr. Harker, where shall you go?
Anywhere! Apparently we are no longer safe here! At least at home we shall no longer be bullied by you!
And how shall you protect yourself, Mr. Harker?
As best we can. Here, darling, put on this crucifix.
Oh my God! It is even worse than I thought!
I'm clean!
No!
Even the Almighty shuns my polluted flesh!
Hush, Madamina, don't say that. Don't even think it. It is not true. Here, this will at least cure the pain. My friends, I must tell you, I don't think we can do this. He is much stronger than even I figured. But I must also tell you this, that if we do not destroy this Dracula, Madamina is lost.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil.
What? What did you say?
Me? I said nothing.
Gentlemen, did you hear?
Yes, she quoted a portion of the 23rd Psalm.
Did I?
Momentary reversion into the hypnotic state.
Yes, I was hypnotized, wasn't I? Were you able to learn anything, Professor?
Oh, Madamina, I was able to learn just how precious you truly are. You must forgive me for any of the sufferings that I have caused you, huh? Gentlemen, we cannot quit now. Give me one more day of your faith, and I will find a way, I swear it.
We cannot leave Mina.
No. She must be with us now.
What?
Yes, please, Jonathan. It is the only way. We began together, now let us stay together.
Oh. Very well then.
We must be finished with our terrible work by sunset, or we lose all advantage, perhaps even our lives. My friends, you must return to your rooms and make yourself ready. We shall assemble in the front hall in 15 minutes, yeah? Great job. I know where he is. I could not say anything in front of Madamina, but I know the way to Lair.
What?
Think, she recited a portion of the 23rd Psalm. Where have you seen that, huh?
My God! It's on the entrance at the chapel near Castle Carfax. But that was very difficult to find the first time. We may not be able to get in.
Oh, but we must try. There must be an underground passageway from the tomb to the vault underneath the chapel. We have him now, my friend. We have him!
spots haven't been tended to in ages.
The dead here have not been visited in some time. Now, Dracula has been sure of this.
Honey, if this cemetery is endless, we should go back. We may be lost. We should not be out here looking after the sunset. There's always tomorrow.
No! Sorry, my friend. I cannot control you. But as for myself, I must go on. Must. Look, there it is!
This is it. It's sealed shut. We need something to pry it open.
Let me try, my friend.
Darling?
It's all right, Jonathan. I'll be all right.
Must hurry. It is almost sunset.
Professor! I'm taking her out of here.
No, Jonathan, I have to stay.
She stays. It is her right.
My God, look. I still can't believe it's possible.
Must I quickly Harper the stake, Dr. Seward the mallet. Liberame Domine de morte eterna, in die ira tremenda.
Flesh
Stay
of
away!
my flesh, blood of my blood, guilt of my guilt. Speak and be manifest.
Mina!
Madam Mina! It is your choice! Trevos factus amigo. Odiscio.
Mina, my darling, you have served me well. Flesh of my flesh, death of my death. This life is no longer than this space between two heartbeats. I give you eternity. Come into the light, the darkness. Come to me, my love.
Yes.